All right, Max. So I didn't realize till recently that you're a student at UA Little Rock, and you've been getting to cover this baseball team all season long. I mean, what's that just been like for you personally to cover this team and now to cover the run they've made here in the postseason?
Man, it's been incredible. I've had a really unique experience and opportunity as a student to cover Little Rock baseball, soccer, volleyball, a little basketball, and it's year four for me on the ESPN Plus stream. So I've gotten to know these coaches and a lot of these players pretty well, and I've just been really, really fortunate that the coaching staffs throughout multiple sports at UA Little Rock have kind of let me in and given me an avenue to try and cover their sport as best as possible and succeed. And then also the athletic administration. I mean, I kind of was a guy who I first was hired in the fall of 2022. I was maybe 21. I might have been 20 when I first got, the women's soccer job. And I was somebody who kind of slipped through the cracks where the old administration I was hired under, and then, Mr. Cuervo, the athletic director, Frank Cuervo, gets here. And I think it would have been very easy for him to, somebody probably whispered in his ear, "Sir, we have a 21-year-old who's on ESPN Plus night in and night out." And instead of reacting to that right away, he slowed things down, listened to a couple of streams and let me stay around. And I'm very grateful for that. And now, obviously, with everything going on with baseball, I mean, it's just been incredible to be able to travel to some of these places and be on the radio in the Ohio Valley Conference tournament in Marion, Illinois, and then go down to the Hattiesburg Regional, everything that these players were able to accomplish. It's just been incredible.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned it to me earlier, last year getting to cover this team and going to Baton Rouge and being more of a fan of Baton Rouge. And this year you're getting to, be on the radio and do it for, 1037 The Buzz. Um, let's just talk about this team or this program, at least in the past couple of years. I mean, they didn't have a NCAA tournament win in program history a few years ago. Now they've got more than enough. It almost feels like what's made this program so conducive to go on runs like they did last year, which was like that seemed amazing in and of itself. And then what they've been able to do this year, just go above and beyond what they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with the coaching staff. I mean, you have head coach Chris Curry, who's, gone viral for how well he speaks and the quotes that he can come up with in the last week or two. But that's the leader that he's been, the last 12 years here in Little Rock, and he's been, the head of the ship since I've been here 4 or 5 years ago. And he brings a wealth of experience. A 6 or 8 year pro career. He was on Dave Van Horn's staff when they went to Omaha in 2009, or a super regional or whatever it was. But he's been to supers. He's been to Omaha as a coach, and he's played under Ron Polk at Mississippi State. So he has these baseball experiences where it's like everywhere we go, whether it's Baton Rouge last year or Hattiesburg, he's got some sort of connection to coaches or broadcasters where he's already kind of got his foot in the door. It's like that's who I want to be the leader. And then you have pitching coach Evan Lee, who is former big leaguer himself, lefty for the Washington Nationals. He was a standout two-way guy. He was on the Arkansas team that was one out away in 2018. He also led Bryant High School to like a top five national ranking back in 2014. So local guy that has seen the highs that the game has to offer, and he can offer the pitching staff just a ton in terms of wealth of experience. He's also a young guy, so he can offer them, energy that maybe you couldn't, that maybe not all pitching coaches in Division I baseball could. And then Matt Parker, the recruiting coordinator and the hitting coach, he's pretty much the winningest junior college Oklahoma coach in history, or just about. He's had two big leaguers make their debuts, former players of his, in the last like week and a half. So it's been a crazy week for him. He's a great leader as well. So it starts with those coaching staff, and then the job that the recruiting coordinator Matt Parker's done. I mean, there's guys on this team from Colombia and the Dominican Republic and Canada and Australia, and a bunch of guys from the Pacific Northwest, and then of course a lot of guys from Central and Northwest Arkansas as well. So it's just a hodgepodge of a bunch of different people coming in. They've done a great job of getting everybody on the same page since that first day in the fall. And I'll say this about this success is that rightfully so, there's a lot of attention that is usually on other programs in the state. But internally, I mean, Little Rock baseball has put together three 30-win seasons in the last 4 years. They've won three championships in the last 3 years before they even got to the Hattiesburg Regional. So this is something that folks that have been really close to the program have kind of seen that something is building. Now, I don't necessarily think that they would tell you at the beginning of the season they expected a first ever super regional appearance, but definitely, if you look at the past few seasons, things have been kind of building to this way and to something like this because it has been the most successful kind of 4 or 5 year period in the history of Little Rock Trojans baseball.
Turn our attention to this weekend because I feel like that's where it's fun to talk about the history they've made. But I know Coach Curry and those players are ready to go for tomorrow night and have their eyes fully focused on a good Troy team. And some people might feel like Little Rock gets lucky getting a 3 seed in the Super Regional, but it is a good Troy team out of the Sun Belt. What do you think makes them good, and what can Little Rock expect tomorrow night out of the Trojans?
Yeah, that's a good point. At this point, there are no slouches. Obviously, it was just as, if not, almost as surprising as Little Rock making it was Troy making it out of Florida in that Gainesville regional. They can just swing it 1 through 9. I mean, that's the scout on them. They can hit the long ball and they can slug it. They hit a lot of doubles, but they also walk a lot and they don't leave a lot of runners on base. They drive in runs. And as everyone is that's left in the super regionals, they got hot at the right time, and they have a really, really good lineup. I think the one place that maybe Little Rock can exploit is the Little Rock Trojans have a bit more of a Friday ace in Brandon Westmoreland. So I think the key for Little Rock is game one, can they support Brandon Westmoreland with a few runs and get out to the early start? Because I think that game one is going to be really, really important for Little Rock.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier, this program has never, done something like this before. What would it mean to this program, to the city of Little Rock, the state, now that it has captured more than just, hey, it's Little Rock baseball, the little brother to the Razorbacks. It's everyone supporting them because they're the only team left. What would it mean to everyone for them to go down there, get 2 wins, and find themselves in Omaha next week?
I mean, it would change things. I mean, for the amount that Baton Rouge and the Alex Box Regional changed things for Little Rock baseball last year, I mean, you just multiply that tenfold. I mean, it's something that most people thought was unthinkable even just a couple months ago. The Little Rock Trojans in Omaha is now a very real possibility, just 2 wins away. I mean, you look at the tournament format shapes out. It's like the conference tournament is really the gauntlet. That's where they had to play 7 games in 5 days. And then you go to Hattiesburg, they didn't have to play two in a day. They just had to win three. And now all of a sudden, you're a best of three win away from Omaha. So the format is more favorable for Little Rock to try and achieve that. As far as what it would mean for the program, I mean, everybody's seen the stadium renderings. Those are starting to feel a lot more real of a potential new ballpark. The attention has been unreal the last week or so. I mean, because of the Troy versus Little Rock matchup, I think a lot of people nationally have kind of uh, garnered some extra attention into that matchup. As head coach Chris Curry has said, there's plenty of room on the bandwagon for whoever you supported at one point in the season. Come on and watch the Trojans this weekend. Watch Little Rock try and take it down.
Awesome. Well, Max, thanks so much. Have fun this weekend and safe travels.
Hey, appreciate you, Nick. Thanks.